What's up, dude? Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. How are you doing? So, I recently put on some new fake nails again. This shape isn't something I'm normally used to, but I think that rainbows are so happy, and I love the happy little rainbows that are kind of on. It might be hard to see because of the light, but I think they are so cute and they're so fun. And even though this isn't a shape that I'm used to, it's very slowly growing on me, and it makes like scratching, like my head feels so much better. The other ones had a more squared off tip, and it was hard to like scratch. So I'm actually really liking these a lot more, and I noticed I had to like talk with my hands more, and like I don't know. It's really annoying that I do that. But I do have to say that wearing fake press-on nails has helped my real nails grow out longer because I'm not constantly sitting there picking on them like I typically do. It's a very horrible. You have got to be kidding me. Oh my god. Okay, sorry about that. My GoPro decided to DIE. I can't say it because then it like turns OFF. So anyways, I was just talking about my fake nails. I love them and my real nails are growing out because of wearing them. So, kind of protects my real nails just a little bit more. Anyways, today's story is very interesting and I am very excited to get into it. Before I start, I want to make something so crystal clear that you can see through it, okay? We are going to be talking about the Hells Angels. Yes, the biker group. Now, here's the thing. I do not live very far from Sturgis, South Dakota. We have I would like to say that our biker community around where I live, it's not small, but it's also not large. And I believe that we have Hells Angels that live relatively close to where I live. And I am not about to have a bunch of big, angry bikers show up at my door. So, for the sake of this video, I am not going to be giving my opinion on this. I am not saying that the Hells Angels did or did not do anything. I think that everybody is innocent until they are proven to be guilty. Everything in this video is alleged. Nothing is fact, okay? I am not saying that the Hells Angels did commit crimes. I'm not saying that they did not commit crimes. I am simply going to tell you what I have read about this story from other people. I'm trying very hard to give only like what is found in the newspapers, things that have to do with this case, like what prosecution says, stuff like that. Facts in that aspect, like just what the prosecution says, like I'm just telling you what they say. I am not about to make any assumptions about anybody in this video. I just think that it is extremely interesting and I want to tell you guys about it. So, that being said, please, none of this is my opinion. I am not giving my opinion for this video. I am doing this purely to inform and to let you guys come to your own conclusions. Okay? I'm very unbiased when it comes to this video. I hope that I've made myself as clear as I possibly can, and I will probably reiterate a lot of this throughout the video. That being said, let's get into it. So, I think in order to understand this case a little bit, you need to know just a tiny bit of history about the Hells Angels. Now, the history that I'm going to be reading you, I got from their website. It's reworded like a little bit, but essentially it's from the Hells Angels website. They give you a nice like history of their group. So if you want to go and read that, I do have it in the description box down below. Definitely go check it out. It's very interesting and I think that you guys would really enjoy it. So the first Hells Angels Motorcycle Club was founded on March 17th of 1948 in the Fontana/San Bernardino area in the US in California. So they've been around for quite a while. During the 50s, more Hells Angels charters started popping up, but at first they had nothing to do with each other. But after a few years, they ultimately united and a regular criteria of admission was laid down. So they decided to sort of band together, but just have like different chapters, but have the same criteria on like how to get in, have the same not values, but oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on what I want to say, but kind of the same goal as a club or as a group. They all had the same goal as a biker group, if that makes sense. In 1961, the first charter outside of California was adopted as far away as Auckland, New Zealand. So it stretches very far and very wide. The first European Hells Angels was accepted in London, England on July 30th of 1969. So it didn't take, honestly, if you think about it, from 1948 to 1969, that's what, 21 years? That really didn't take very long for them to expand to Europe. The club's name was first suggested by Arvid Olsen, who was an associate of the founders who had served in the Hells Angels squadron of the Flying Tigers in China during World War II. I could not figure out who the founding members are, however. Like, there is a guy that you can read about that is, I would say, credited by a lot of different like news sources as being one of the founders. However, he denies it. He doesn't say that he is in fact one of the founding members. So honestly, I have no idea who the founding members are, which I think is really interesting. It kind of adds to the mystique of the Hells Angels. So, but this Arvid guy, he does say that, like, yes, he helped them found this group and he was in fact part of it, but who the actual founding members are is unclear. So that brings us to Monday, January 23rd of this year. Like, I think that's today of me recording this video. So now we're kind of up to present day. Like I said, I just wanted to provide a tiny bit of history for you guys so you kind of understand a little bit about this group. So on Monday, Frank Hannenbooth appeared in court for being accused of running a chapter of the Hells Angels linked with organized crime in the Spanish island of Mallorca, in Spain. 49 other alleged collaborators from numerous countries were also in court. 34 of the 49 collaborators agreed to a plea deal, which allows them to pay fines instead of having to serve any sort of time. Frank didn't seek a deal and was instead facing a possible 13-year prison sentence. So this is no joke, like prison, not just like jail time. Spanish prosecutors charged Frank with membership in a criminal organization, the Hells Angels, money laundering, and illegal possession of firearms. The prosecution was also asking the judge to slap Frank with a hefty $4.5 million fine for the money laundering charge. Like, this is some serious stuff. According to a criminal indictment, the Hells Angels had carried out illegal activities in Mallorca between 2009 to 2013 while Frank was the head of the chapter. He is no longer the head of the chapter. I really couldn't, like, I don't know when he stepped down or if, like, he just decided that he wanted to be done. I'm not totally sure. But allegedly, Frank had members carry out crimes including extortion, pimping, acquiring illegal firearms, and robbery in popular tourist spots, according to prosecutors. Now, also, it is alleged that in their prostitution ring that they had, they would have women undergo cosmetic surgeries to become more attractive and then, therefore, ultimately be able to charge more for their services. Again, this is alleged. I do not know if this is fact or not. Supposedly, the reason that the Hells Angels chose Mallorca for their illegal activities was because of the high presence of foreign residents and the existence of other money laundering and drug trafficking schemes on the island. That's something that the prosecutors say in the indictment. Again, I'm trying to only say stuff that was said in court. None of this is my opinion or something that I am accusing anybody of doing. The Mallorca chapter had members all over, ranging from the Dominican Republic to Morocco. So considering this literally just happened today that they started the court proceedings, I think that we are going to get a lot more information. This is just what I could find as of right now. A lot of stories just said the same thing. They just reposted the Associated Press's release that, you know, their story about that, or about this case. So I think it's really interesting to see kind of, I don't know how to say this without like accusing anybody of anything, but the Hells Angels, they've been connected to crime in the past. Like, they've been in other court cases and they've been arrested for things. I don't want to go into that because that could be a whole video in and of itself. But if what is said about the Hells Angels is in fact true, like what they have to do with organized crime, like there's a lot of allegations saying that they're just an organized crime group. Again, I don't know if this is true or not. Honestly, if it's not, it could just be a huge thing of fiction, and honestly, they could just be a bunch of guys that like hanging out and riding their Harley motorcycles around, you know? But if the allegations of what they do is true and they are part of an organized crime ring, you know, the Hells Angels, it's interesting to see how that would correlate to like the mob. You know, the mob has different families. The Hells Angels have different charters around the world. So it's like they're kind of similar if the Hells Angels are in fact involved in organized crime, which I'm not here to say that yes, they are, or no, they're not. I really have no idea. This is the most that I've probably learned about the Hells Angels ever in my life, and honestly, I find it very fascinating, and I think that this court case could be really interesting to see how it goes moving forward. However, you know, it happening over in Spain, it could take us a little bit to hear specific details about what happens, but I think that it could be very interesting. Again, I am not saying that this man, Frank, that he did or didn't do any of this. I'm just really trying to tell you guys what I read in other stories and what the prosecution is saying. If you guys think that this is interesting enough, definitely let me know if you would like an update as it goes on. It might take a while for there to be any sort of update since this case just started happening, but I am very interested in seeing where this goes. Also, if there's any Hells Angels that are currently watching this, comment down below what you think about this, or if you can say anything about this, because honestly, I really don't have any feelings or opinions of this group. Like, I just think they're very interesting to learn about. And if I could, I probably would sit down with the Hells Angels and just try to pick his brain. And I don't know. It's like, I would, of course, would be nosy and be like, so what's it like to be part of the group? Because if you want to become a Hells Angels, it takes years to become a full-fledged member. Like, you have to be committed. So the first thing you have to do is you have to find a charter that is, you know, obviously close to where you live. You have to own a Harley Davidson bike. And you need to hang out with the chapter. And if you decide that you like them, and more importantly, they have to decide that they like you too, then you get to be a hang-around, which is really self-explanatory. It's basically them being like, yeah, we're cool with you being here, but you are choosing to hang around us. Like, you're just tagging along with us. That is your choice, you know? And then after that, you can get moved up to an associate and then a prospect. But you have to go through those stages before you are able to become a full-fledged member and get the jacket and, you know, actually be part of the group and be in on everything that they do, whatever that is, you know, riding your motorcycles and stuff. So anyways, I think it's really interesting and it's very fascinating. So if anyone by some chance is watching this video, please comment down below anything that you can tell us about being a Hells Angel, because I think that it is fascinating. Also, another thing I'd like to mention is that Frank does have a Wikipedia page. However, it's in German, so I can't read it because he is like of German descent, so I'm sure that's why it's in German. But one thing I did read about him was that he had been a boxer, which is really cool. So I don't know, just kind of a fun little interesting fact about Frank. I hope that this video was kind of interesting for you guys. I know I was sort of all over the place, but I'm very scared that some bikers are going to show up at my door for making this video. I know I'm not a big YouTube channel by any means, but I'm trying to be very careful with what I say because I am not here to accuse or to allege that anybody did anything. I am just reporting on this case because I find it very interesting. Also, if you guys can count up how many times I say that I find this interesting, leave it in the comments down below because I'm curious. I've said it like multiple times. But that is it for me today. If you guys enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a comment down below and give this video a thumbs up. And if you would like to, please subscribe to my channel. You don't have to. If you don't, totally fine. Thanks for hanging out with me. But I do post videos every single day at 7 a.m. Sometimes they're longer, sometimes they're shorter, but every single day you get a new little something from me. So, just something to keep in mind. But that is it for me today, you guys. For those of you that will be back, I will see you tomorrow bright and early at 7 a.m. Bye, guys.